Welcome, gamers, to the start of a new Let's Play series. We're going to be playing Interstellar Space Genesis, and particularly we're going to be looking at the new Evolving Empires DLC. This will be in episode 0, I think, where I just sort of go through how the game works, how the mechanics work in the game. The game actually proceeds pretty quickly, and look, just to sort of try to position this game in amongst all of the other Space 4Xs that are actually out there, this would have to be the closest to being a spiritual successor to Master of Orion 2, the old classic, you know, the old favourite that everyone sort of looks back very favourably on. If you like Master of Orion 2, you're going to love this game. I can say that's, you know, without a question of a doubt. It's an exceptionally good Space 4X. The big differentiating factor between this and most other Space 4Xs, it's got a really, really good tactical battle system, along with the other mechanics as well with the strategic layer. But this one, the tactical battles in ISG, turn-based tactical battles, there's only one other game that I can think of in the Space 4X genre that actually comes close to really competing with it, and that is Stars in Shadow, and that's been many, many years since that's actually been updated. So ISG, I think, is now the best of the turn-based tactical battles as far as what I've played in sort of space combat. I mean, there's certainly other games that aren't really big 4X games where you can certainly have great tactical battles in space, like you've got the Battlestar Galactica Deadlock that has got incredible battles in space, which are technically turn-based, but they're sort of like a WeGo system. This is purely turn-based, very, very simple system on the surface with a lot of complexity with the way that you then construct your fleets and your ships and so on and so forth. So a lot to love about this game. And that's like the games that don't do that. There's so many of them. You've got your Gal Civ games, you've got your Stellaris, you've got your what's the other ones that would sort of have that, not have, in Endless Space 2. Those sorts of games don't do tactical battles. They basically are not geared that way, and I don't know why they're not, because for me it's such a great part of actually playing these sorts of games. It makes it much more immersive for me. I really, really wish those other games would actually have some sort of tactical battle system that made sense. Anyway, we'll go, and what I want to do is I want to show you what Evolving Empires has, so I can explain this in a couple of different ways. I've actually got I'm doing a Twitch stream right at the time I'm recording this. Well, not at the same time, but I've just finished one where I've actually got a fairly developed empire. We're sort of just hitting the middle game, and I can sort of show what these things do. Now, Evolving Empires, it's got two words there. Each word actually does relate to another aspect of the game. You've now got evolution of your base group, of your actual of your organisms, and you also have a minor empires. So evolution and minor empires essentially is what Evolving Empires does bring. Okay, so here is the here's the Twitch game that I've been playing, and we'll see a few different things. The new things are the minor civilizations, which we can sort of see down through here, and evolutions, which is part of our culture, space culture back up in here. And don't worry, I'll be going through in a lot of detail. I just wanted to sort of show in very, very brief terms what is actually here. And what we can see through here is we've actually got like a minor civilization that's giving us a research advantage in through there. And we have another research advantage up this way, but with a question mark next to it. So what's the difference between those with the minor civilizations? If I hover over this one, we can then sort of see these are the Eliger, is the minor civilization that we've actually found through here. And we can see when we have a look, like, by all means pause the screen and have a read through if you're wanting to sort of see what type of minor civilization this particular one is. So the access status that we actually have with this one is we've got a non-exclusive access. Now that's what that is you can see the border from the dance system is almost touching this particular system through here, but it's not really at this point in time. So the others technically would sort of be inside our, this one is inside inside the Sulak existence, which is what our faction is called, as is this one. This one is just on the outside, even though we have like an outpost there. We have an outpost in through here, and this is just outside as well. So as the influence of the dance system increases, I think one more pop, and we're going to then have this one inside it, and so then we'll have exclusive access. But at this stage, it's non-exclusive access to this particular world. The access status of empires that discovered the minor civilization, we found them, so we have access non-exclusive. And the relationship bonus, we have 1 research point per population in the empire. So every single population we have, by having this relationship with these guys, gives us +1 research point. And so that actually can be, well, not dramatically big, I guess, but it does certainly sort of help us along. Now we've got the so then we have an exclusivity bonus, and this is not available just yet, but it will be soon when that border expands. And so we get, if we can get exclusive to it, we get +5 votes in the Galactic Council if it's inside our territory. And so that's going to happen very, very soon. Now we have fully surveyed this one. So the survey bonus is we get +6 research in all 6 research fields, and it has been fully surveyed by the Sulak Existence on turn 63. And so what that means is that we've actually had a survey ship sit here for 20 turns and basically study these guys. Now over through here we actually have a fleet with a frigate and a survey ship. So I've actually got like a fleet which is surveying this particular one at the moment. And if I hover over this one here, there's a minor civilization not surveyed. This species inhabiting this planet specialises in delivering intelligent answers to complex problems. So it'll be the same faction essentially. They don't have to be. So you can see down through here when we look at it, we've got has access but non-exclusive, as does an unknown empire. So there's another empire that knows of this particular group. So the Sulak Existence has access non-exclusive, and the unknown empire also does. The relationship bonus through here is plus 0.5 RP per pop in the empire. This bonus is doubled when the minor civilization is fully surveyed. So unless that ends up going inside one of the other areas, and there's a few areas outside here that we don't know if there's like another faction. They must be close to here, but I don't know exactly where. Anyway, this one here, when we hover over that one there. So by not surveying it, we're only getting half the research points per population. The exclusivity bonus, again, is +5 votes if it's inside the territory, and the survey bonus, you can see that we're halfway through. This one, we've got 10 more turns left to get the fully surveyed bonus. And so note, this minor civilization has not been fully surveyed by any empire. To complete a survey and unlock additional bonuses, an empire must keep a survey ship in orbit for 20 consecutive turns. So you can't start what you're doing and then run off. So it becomes a very interesting strategic element. Do you let another faction come in and do the survey and get the bonuses? You do get a bonus for being the first one to do the survey. So we're trying to get that ourselves at this point in time. It just adds a different sort of mechanic, or even technically a resource to the game, where you've got like these planets which really you do want to keep control of. If you accidentally or purposely sort of go and inhabit one of these planets, and this one over here is actually ideal for us to go and set up. You can see through here we've got we actually inhabit acid worlds, and so this is one where, even though the gravity is not ideal for us, it's an ultra-rich planet with the minor civilization on board, and so this would be something that for me I would like to be actually settling on that one if I could. So that's actually something that is sort of interesting for me to go for. So that's the minor civilizations aspect of the game. As I say, it does add some interest to the game, and this is nearly at turn 100, so we're sort of a fair way into the game. We're certainly into the middle game, even though we haven't discovered the other factions yet. If we have a look now at the culture area, so space culture, we've got the same 3 that we used to have: adventure, wealth, knowledge. But what we now have is evolution. And so evolution, you sort of start off, the first one really does push you into a certain direction. And depending on which faction you're playing as, you've got all these different sorts of research, like these evolutionary abilities. I would actually like to see more, to be honest. And some of these can be really, really overpowered. I'll show you one in a minute that's really, really overpowered. But this one here, we've got a swarm specialist in through this side. So if we took this evolutionary path, which I have actually done, I've gotten 2 paths in through here. So ships gain plus 5% weapons damage for each additional ship of the same size in combat. And you'll see that this is called Swarm Specialist. So what it's wanting you to do is to have lots and lots of small ships, because you get all sorts of different weapon damage by having like a whole range of little frigates, for example, as opposed to having too many of the larger ships. So it sort of pushes you to play a certain way. Plus 100 military ship production in all colonies. That's going to be very useful just to sort of pump out the ships quickly. Frigates and destroyers start at 1 level of experience higher than normal, so we get better crew on those ships. And -1 ship support point required for destroyers. So destroyers are actually take a lot less space in the Empire. So we can really sort of flesh out our fleets with lots and lots of destroyers, which makes it very, very powerful. But the rub, or the negative with this one, is that we cannot refit ships, which means that if we sort of go and get like a whole lot of ships at a certain tech level, and then sort of find that we get a better fusion beam or a missile or something that we've been waiting on, we can't go back and retrofit those particular ships. That's the sort of the negative of playing with this one here. Anyway, that just gives you a bit of a feel for what goes on. And then you've got to choose which path you're going to go down. And so you've then got a choice, similar to these. Like you can only choose one of these at a time. Like, if I chose this one wouldn't be available, for example. So let's leave that one. I'll open up another game, which I've also been playing just to sort of test things out. All right, so this is a different game. I was actually recording this one for YouTube, and I'm starting again. This is my restart. I turned 42 here, so I had played a fair bit of what we're sort of seeing through this side. If we have a look at our faction, we're now playing as the Palestinian Assembly in through this side. And you'll notice that there's some interesting aspects to this one. For example, like we don't have any tolerable biomes. It's either the ideal for us is a swamp world, and then we've got everything else is hostile to us. So why is that the case? And the case is because our evolutionary aspect that we chose is this one through here, which is called natural allies. And so for the Palestinians, they end up with this particular choice. And so we have effects. So uncontrolled space monsters join this empire when we first encounter them. And you can see note 1 there, space monsters do not use SSP. So we end up going and basically in the very, very early game, having, as long as there's space monsters around, and there always is. So, and again, if you're playing the game, you can sort of bump them up a little bit if you're going to be playing as the Palestinians, because really they are your early game fleet. Early to mid-game, they're incredibly powerful. So the ideal biome colonies spawn one adult space monster upon reaching Echo Level 3. So note 2 there says only colonies of this race, qualifying pre-existing colonies spawn immediately. So when you get to Eco Level 3 with any of your worlds, you are going to spawn a space monster that you then control. And so then tolerable biomes are considered hostile for pops of this race. So for example, for us, I think would have been acid and Terran worlds, I think, would be the ones that have then dropped from being tolerable down into being hostile. So that's sort of how that has then sort of worked. And so then once we get to a little bit further along, we'll then have a choice of either going to spawning grounds, so controlled adult space monsters periodically spawn offspring, so we can start to sort of get even more of them, or we can go this way where we have fertile deposits. So you can see the difference between the evolutionary of the Sulak and the Palestinians. Like and every faction has got a different evolutionary path that you can then sort of choose, and you have to choose between these two. By the time you get to choose these, you'll have a bit of an idea as to which direction you're wanting to head in the game, because the game itself will then present interesting aspects to you. Now, I can't remember where I've got these space monsters. You've got one monster in here. So I've got like a space dragon, which I picked up. So we've got one dragon in through these, and these are really, really powerful units, like incredibly powerful. We've got one survey ship in through there, one frigate. I thought, I've got more of them here. One frigate down there. Where's my other space monsters? Where's my other monsters? I know I've got more monsters somewhere. I don't know where they are. Oh, it might be over here. Yeah, one monster over there as well. And so we've got like a space amoeba in through this side. Again, extremely powerful, but it means that when I do go and start to meet up with the AI, and you can see that there's AI ships sort of floating around the place, if they come in, they're not going to be able to really sort of hold on. Is that another monitor? No, that's only a frigate in through there. I've got the one survey ship going off to survey different things. And survey ships now become very, very important. I mean, they've always been important in the game, but even more so now with these, well, particularly with the minor civilizations. You can see through here, in this particular run, I haven't found any minor civilizations just yet. One thing I can do is turn on this, show the system scan levels. We need to have full scans available at these locations. I've got a full scan there. I don't have a full one there. I do have a full one there. So this will then find any ruins. It will find any minor civilizations. So I'm still on the warpath, trying to find different aspects to sort of go after here. But it does. The evolutionary path does actually really push you a certain direction in the game, depending on what you want for your game. So it gives you a lot more choice with the way that you play the game. So I thought I'd just present that, just so you get a bit of a feel for what the DLC does present. Okay, let's go back and we'll exit to the main menu and actually then go and play a new game. So if we go into here, I sort of wish there was almost like a random that we could sort of choose in here, actually, because I feel like just randomly playing something and I don't know what I want to do. I mean, I could roll a dice, I guess. Let's do that. Let's do exactly that. So if I go through, and you can even, when you create your own factions as well, I do have a dice in front of me. So these are 2 factions that I did actually create some time ago. And if I just go to modify these, we can then sort of see the affinity. So I've gone with the Kayak affinity back in through here, which then gives me the evolutionary perks aspect as well. So each one of them, each affinity that we actually have, if I go and click a different one, like the Moltar affinity, in through here, we have a like boundless breakthroughs, cultural diffusion, these sorts of things are the evolutionary perks in through here. So when you get used to the game, you will be able to really min-max the way that you want to be playing. Sulak, as we sort of saw there before, was to do with the swarm specialists and sort of the hive mentality. The Palaceans we saw there as the natural allies and the spawning grounds. So let's not leave that. I'll just cancel that one. I'll just close that one off. Anyway, I won't go through how to set these sorts of things up, but it's very easy to go and build a new faction. So how many factions have we got in the game? We've got 4, 8, 9, 10. I just happen to have a 10-sided dice in my grubby hands right now, so I don't care what we play as. And we're playing as number 7, which is going to be the Serix. So just make doubly sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't think I've ever played as these before. So if we have a look at these guys, this is the Serix Sentinels, the self-proclaimed upholders of peace and arbiters of justice throughout the galaxy. The Serix, I don't normally like little funny creatures like this, but anyway, we'll go with it. The Serix, that's probably why I've never played it, to be honest. So Justice Tacticus, I'll just... there we go. The Serix Sentinels, that sounds good. And Arbitros, we'll call this one Dastopia. And they're always called Dastopia. The home system name is the Dastopia system. And we're going with like a grey colour in through here, which is okay. I can choose any colours that I like. So that will be good. And we don't know which of the actual units we're going to be able sort of playing with as such. So we're playing on hard mode, 3 players, medium galaxy size. This does give them an advantage. So we're playing on Viceroy level, so this is just the default level. But I can, if I wanted to, also then move mine up to get the bonuses that the others will then go and get. So they get sort of like extra bonuses by being considered powerful, for example. So I can change what they get, but in this case, we'll just sort of leave that one where that actually is. I can also tweak things like, whether we want to, adjust the production speed for this empire. So we can actually really finesse different bits and pieces. Again, it would be just nice to know if we could actually set up a game where we didn't know exactly what the other 2 players are going to be. I don't want this to go for too long, so that's why I'm just thinking 3 players will be enough, hopefully for us to get a victory within a reasonable amount of time. So we'll just go and start the game. Actually, by the way, this is all defaults in through here. We can see that the minor civilizations are now set to average. I can actually bump that up to many if I wanted to, but I think I'll just leave it there. Again, if you're playing as the Palaceans, bump your monsters up to high if you're wanting to get the advantages, so on and so forth. Anyway, let's just start the game. Okay, so we've got the Dastopian system back down through this side, over through here, and I don't know what they're going to call our world. Dastopia 1. Okay, that's fine. I will actually leave that one, name that one. So in our home system, we have an icy world, because this is this type of world that we inhabit. We've got medium gravity, which is our gravity. Actually, I should maybe start at the start. Let's just go through and actually look at our faction. There's a lot to explain with what we're seeing here, by the way. So if I have a look at the faction, and then I'll try to explain how the mechanics work. So don't worry, if you're new to the game, I will be spending as much time as possible to explain everything. So if you are watching this looking for gameplay, maybe skip the rest of this one if you're sort of familiar with the game. I'll just be literally going through how the game actually works. So we may play one turn or something. So we can see through here, this is the summary. By the way, I'll just show where that is on the screen. It's the second one across there, or the F2. So it goes like F1, F2, F3, etc., etc. And so you can see through here, each one of these is a bit different. So we've got like the remote exploration, which essentially is your astronomers on the worlds that you control will then look at space from those worlds and then try to make sense of things. Now we have We have to do one of these coming up, so choose a new sector remotely. That's what that one is. This one here is your empire overview. The next one is research, which we also then have to manage as well. We can't actually end our turn until we've actually done at least these two. We have a ship designer, which we'll be playing with a bit later in the game. We have diplomacy when we start to meet other factions. We've got our leaders. Now, the leaders are sort of like a role-play aspect of the game, which can really empower what you're doing. Back through here is the space culture, which we had a look at before, like with the other ones that I've been playing. And then finally, just the game options and sort of like your basic sort of setup in through there. So that's F8. So we're just going to have a quick look at the Empire overview. That way we can just see exactly what we actually do have. So, I won't go through all of these. We've only got one colony that's owned. We've got 6 populations on the colony. And so that's the information there over that side from through here. So you can see the Empire effects. We actually have a negative research bonus per population, which is a bit of a problem, and a negative culture as well. So it means that we're going to spend a lot longer getting those different aspects. So why is that? Why have we got those? If we have a bit of a look, we can see there that we've actually selected them as part of this particular group. So we've actually got negative 0.5 research in through here. This is part of that would give us extra points, which would then allow us to do things like, for example, to get the plus 50% ship attack and the plus 50% ship defense. So our ships are strong in combat, but at the expense of getting research and culture. Now, culture is quite important in this one. We also have things like uncreative. So an uncreative race has trouble coming up with new ideas, and their thought process is more rigid and focused. And the effects of that are minus 20% to early breakthrough chance. This is actually something that's going to also impact what we do, because we're going to have to sort of research, do all the grunt work when we actually do researching through here. We are good traders, so these races are extremely gifted in the art of business, and will always get the upper hand in trade deals. So we have plus 25% to treaty income and plus 50% from trade goods income. So that sort of means we really need to try to at least find one other friendly empire that we can then sort of start trading with. And then we have medium gravity worlds, which is sort of like just stock standard. So yeah, that means we can go to low gravity worlds and heavy gravity worlds, but at a bit of an expense. So that's sort of where we go with all those things, and that then just translates across into here. Ship attack is actually plus 90 back and through this side. We're getting plus 50 from the race modifier and plus 40 from targeting algorithms tech. So we've actually already got a tech that sort of boosts that one right up. It's all good stuff. So we've got the early breakthrough chances negative 20, as we saw. The population assimilation turns is 8, which I think is the default. So the government type that we have is a dictatorship. That's the one that we actually go with there. So we have 10% morale in a colony with a garrison. Now that's actually something we should actually look at, because that's going to be something that will be getting the extra morale will certainly help things along a little bit. We get -1 temporary diplomatic modifier towards and from all other governments, but playing as a dictatorship in through there. So that's sort of where we are with this particular run. The ideal biomes are icy worlds. The tolerable ones for us are desert worlds and barren worlds. So we can actually colonize those once we get the tech for that, which we get fairly early. And for us, we're medium gravity, and we can go to heavy or low, which are tolerable. There's no they're the only 3 types of worlds that you're going to sort of find that you can then sort of colonize. The ones that are hostile, which we probably will just completely ignore, down the bottom through here: lava, acid, swamp, and Terran worlds. All right, so we'll have a look at this every so often to just get a bit of a feel for where we are in the game, and particularly as we meet other factions. So that's a bit of an overview of the actual empire itself, and who we are playing as. When we have a bit of a look at this one, we can see on the actual map through here that I can't zoom in much more than what this is. In fact, that is the closest actual zoom into Dastopia. This marker through here is actually the influence zone of the actual empire, and anything that falls inside there essentially is then owned by us. And so when this grows enough to then catch this one, even if we don't have anything there, we still actually have control over that red star over through this side. This one's completely unexplored, by the way. I'll just turn off the exploration indicator. We'll come back and deal with that one when we need to look at it. So this is where we're starting. The little indicators down through there, blue means that we've got like a planet that we've got in a colony on, and grey means that there's an asteroid belt. We'll see more as we start to go through this, and I'll point them out as we start to sort of play. Back over here is an indication we've got a fleet that's actually in orbit in this system, or it's a part of the system. And so we've got 2 frigates and 1 colony ship as part of that one. If I click on that one, we can then see exactly those ships. Now, back out through here, we've got like a whole range of different sorts of stars that we can then sort of go and access. And we also have this is like the range that we can travel to. So the game doesn't have fuel. We don't have to worry about going back and getting fuel. As long as we're operating, or we can only operate inside, or technically we can only operate inside this particular area through here. And we improve that through logistics. So the more logistics we actually have it in our empire, the more it pushes back out. So a lot of the concepts like fuel have been abstracted to basically then mean this particular line. So fuel and in this case it would be logistics. Logistics pushes out that travel distance. Now we've got a orange star there, which is very, very close to, I think even, I'm not sure if that will push back even if we get extra population. I don't think it will. I think it's this is where it is, and so we need to get logistics to move that one out. If we got the next level of logistics, we'd actually have access to at least those 3. Maybe that one, I'm not sure. So we'll certainly have a look at that in just a minute. But this is sort of where the universe, it's important to sort of have a bit of a look at the universe around you, or the galaxy around you, so that you can then sort of make the choices with your technology. Back in through this side, we also then have, so the red, and if you click on these as well, what you'll find is that it'll give you information. Red stars are very old and exceptionally abundant. They tend to have fewest planets and celestial objects. As the oldest and most stable stars in the galaxy, their planets tend to have the best ecological values and offer the highest chance of containing the ruins of an ancient civilization. However, some planets may become tidally locked due to orbiting too close to their star. And so anyway, this is going to be one of these things where we're probably going to have low resources in these sorts of areas, but all we've got is reds, plus we do actually have a sort of blue. Yeah, blue stars are huge, young, very bright, exceptionally rare. They tend to be very rich in minerals and all to contain the largest amount of planets and other celestial objects of any star system. These are intensely hot, unstable, emit extreme amounts of radiation. Anyway, this is going to be, it's going to mean we've got less ecology, but a much higher chance of getting high production values. Now, if we have a look at high production amounts in through there, by the way, minerals in the game, just as fuel is sort of abstracted into this logistics bubble out through this side, resources that you mine are abstracted across into production values. So that sort of, the game doesn't try to do, it's not like a Distant Worlds type game where you've got like a million different sorts of resources that are all very, very important. In this case, it's very much abstracted down, and so again, that's just a difference with this particular game. So we'll be wanting to go and explore these. What I will do is I will just go and set these off. Now, we don't know what's here. There could be space monsters. There could be all sorts of different things. So the last thing we want to be doing is throwing a colony ship at any of these. I can technically grab a colony ship and send it off to go and explore. It can become an explorer, but it doesn't have the ability to turn around quickly. So I don't want to waste this ship. It's going to cost me so many turns to get another colony ship. I don't want to be wasting that one. So we want to go off. I'm just going to grab one of these ships and then go and click over here. And we'll just go back to this one as well and grab the frigate. So they're 2 frigates, and we'll just go across up to that location. I might actually zip across to there, I think. And if I hover over there, 3 turns to that one there, 3 turns to that one there. Now, the reason this one's taking 3 turns to go just from there to there is it's got to go through this nebula. So we've got a supernova remnant nebula, which slows down our ships. So that one there is going to chew up as much time as it takes for us to go all the way across to here. So that's okay. So at least they've now been sent off to start their exploration, and these can escape. Usually they can escape from space monsters. So that they've got a better chance of survivability. They don't do a full scan when they get there. They just bounce in, have a bit of a look, and then sort of we can then use them for other things. So we can now explore and through this side. Actually, if we go up to here, this is going to be choose a new sector to explore remotely, and this is like having the astronomers from here going to go and do things. And you can see through here, this is the number of turns for them to do a little bit of an expose through space. And if you have a look over on the left-hand side here, when I hover over this, you can see there that the current exploration level is none for this particular area, and this will then sort of take it up to like a low level. And so potential discoveries for the basic scan are finding black holes and neutron stars. That could be really, really useful for us. Back over through here, you can sort of see that we're unlikely to, because there's no other planets out through here, we're unlikely to come across any other empires in amongst here. So, you know, if we did find anything in here, it's a good chance that no one's going to be able to really take it from us. But this is probably the safest one for us to have a look at. But when we have a look at the scan levels there, we don't have, like, potential discoveries are unlikely for everything. If we just hover across these, at white dwarf is potential through there. Black hole and neutron stars there again because of this nebula. Like, there's a chance we'll find it in the parts of the nebula there. And this one as well, we've got a small part of a nebula in through that side, so we now have a chance of finding all sorts of different things in through there. I think I'm going to go back to this one though, the black hole and neutron star. What these do is they give you special resources predominantly, and so we'll have a bit of a look for that one there. So we'll go and grab that one. Just right click and come back into the actual area itself, and then we have our research that we can then have a bit of a look at. So we'll just go to research. Now I've got a situation where I've got like a mix of different sorts of what is it? Different. I've mixed up the, like, it's a randomized tech tree, which means that I'm not going to have everything exactly where we want it. Now, the first one that we generally always want to get is the robotic factory, and usually it's in tier number 1, which makes it fairly quick and easy. It's 18 turns at the moment to get one of those. This one here is going to be 42 turns, but it's one that I do need to get pretty urgently, actually. And because our groups are so poor at research, we're going to have to sort of try to get these things quickly if we can. I've got the technological capital. This will give me plus 100 research points, 100% research points in the colony, which is not much. So maybe I'll forget about that one there. I mean, it would, if we could get like a flat amount of research, it would probably be viable. Our research is incredibly low at the moment, but let's just go with robotic factory. We'll just go and get that one out of the way. And we can actually now technically end the turn. If we have a quick look at the culture, at the space culture, the one that we're going to end up getting with our evolution is technophiles. So acquire one space culture perk to unlock. So we have to unlock one of the others to get this one. And so the Empire can purchase available technologies from the research tree. Okay, so that's cool. Empire techs cannot be stolen from fleet combat, raids, or invasion. So if we look at note 1 there for the first one about can purchase. So 1 BC per RP of remaining research cost. So that's something we could, like, getting that there could actually help us if we can get a good trade system going. And then the Empire techs cannot be stolen from fleet combat, raids, or invasion. So technologies can still be stolen by espionage, though. So we've got that one there. Empire's ships self-destruct if they would be captured in combat. Okay, and no research produced by pops of this race. If we get that, all of our research disappears. We don't even get the half one that we actually had. So it means that we have to do all of our research by buying things. So it becomes quite a different sort of way of playing the game. Anyway, I've gone over time, guys. I'm going to leave it here. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in episode 1. This is episode 0, by the way, which is a bit of an introduction.